Hi everyone, welcome back to my little gardening show. Looks like they've changed the going live format where you have to have your phone vertical if you're using a phone. At least that's what they're wanting me to do. So we'll adapt. Let's see if I can get this up on the tripod so I don't have to mess with it. Having some technical difficulties. That might work. Lower it a little bit. Alright, that's better. Anyway, it's been a while. Things have kind of slowed down in the garden. In fact, about a month or so ago, I ended up putting everything to bed. We tore everything out, mowed everything down, kind of got the garden ready for the leaves for kind of the next step as far as amending stuff. So tonight what I thought I'd do is take you along as I'm going to start some microgreens again. Let me just flip this around so you can see. I'll just stay off the tripod for a little bit. So I've got some potting mix here. This is just the Pro Mix I get from a gardening center in Dayton. And mixed in some worm castings. And then I've got a couple of these 5x5 microgreen trays. And we're only going to start 4 just to see, the germination rate. I'm using some old seed that I've stored in refrigeration for the most part. It's 2021. Typically, if you can store seed in refrigeration, it's going to last a lot longer, but if not, about 2 years is the max on there. I'm wearing these little mechanic gloves here because a lot of times this mix, it's got shards of wood and stuff, and you can end up getting some fine splinters. Just keep my hands a little clean. We've got some water, so what we're going to do is wet this mix down. I'm going to grab some clumps and kind of pat it down in here, and then we're going to put a generous amount of seed on there, and then we'll cover it with just a fine layer of this. I tried using this perlite, or whatever this is, vermiculite. And it didn't work so well to cover the seeds. It worked better just to use the this potting mix. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Kind of get that going. Other than that, things have been going pretty well. We actually had a pretty good year in the garden. I didn't make a lot of videos. I did a lot of well, not a lot, but I did what I would call lazy YouTube, where I would do just a short or post a photo, or I think maybe 1 or 2 videos through the season. Didn't spend a lot of time out at the garden. I spent a lot of time kind of getting it ready and putting it in, but as far as maintaining it and getting out there, not so much. And my dad, he was pretty busy this year too. Normally he helps me pretty well, and he was a help, but he had a lot of trips and a lot of just gallivanting around that he does. So but I tell you, things still did pretty well. I think I got like 90 pints of sauce, and we still had quite a bit of green beans left over, so I've got 100 quarts of green beans. a couple bushels of onions, a couple bushels of potatoes, bunch of peppers that we mixed in with the sauce. So that went, overall things went pretty well. I'm thinking about ripping out the tomato trellis this year and kind of redoing the whole thing, and then getting some, so I can go in there and really weed and amend the ground. We're having a lot of problem with Canadian thistle, and I don't know how much of that's was brought in by like the leaf mulch that we get every year versus like birds dropping seeds versus like just existing clumps kind of spreading, but it's pretty much, it spread pretty quickly. And so I think what I'm gonna have to do is cut it down and then either tarp it real good, well, get my leaf mulch down, but then in the spring get some kind of tarp or something to try to smother it out, because it's just super invasive. I mean, unless I wanted to use Roundup, or I wanted to do like super deep tilling, and running a tractor through there and try to rip it all out. If there's any kind of nodes of any little bit of root left, that stuff just reemerges. The other strategy is to go in and consistently weed it, so that would be just kind of being on a schedule and just making that part of the routine and getting out there more consistently would be another way of dealing with it potentially. But anyway, why don't I go ahead and get this going here. We'll see if we can flip this around without dropping the camera. Maybe before we do that, I'll just show you around the grow room. I spent some time kind of cleaning up. Still need to organize the shelves a little bit, but I took the wet dry vac and tried to clean up the floor and the tables and just check on my lights. They're still working pretty good. Kind of organize my shelf down there. Emptied the trash can. There's a little bit more trash in there now. Got my my little mixer here for the potting mix. It's just a little kind of heavy duty drill from Harbor Freight. I got for like 75 bucks or something. Maybe it was like 65, but got this muck tub and I just throw everything in there, and then get a mixing attachment there that normally you'd mix paint or mortar with, and I think it works pretty well. Let's add a little bit of water to this. Tell you, this potting mix, it can hold a surprising amount of water. Just kind of dampen it down. I like to dampen it down before handling it too much because the stuff's so dusty. I don't want to breathe this stuff in. It smells kind of nice and earthy. It's pretty relaxing just kind of being down here and putzing around. Now we'll take our, it'd probably be more efficient if I just set this in here and just drop clumps in here. Press that down. We got one. Microgreens work out pretty good. Had pretty good success with them last spring. Pretty tasty. Put them on all kinds of stuff as like a garnishment. Also brought some in for co-workers. One co-worker in particular that really likes it. The microgreens will snack on them throughout the day. And they'll keep for a little while if they're dry. So once they sprout and they're going and stuff, and you harvest them after you kind of wash them, you want to pat them dry because it's moisture on cut greens and oxygen that will cause them to spoil faster. So if you can get all the air out of your Ziploc or container and they're pretty well patted dry, they'll keep for 7 to 10 days. And still stay pretty nice. Past that, it's maybe a little questionable. But there we go. We got our pots ready to go. So the next step is to sprinkle some lettuce seed. Now this is a butterhead lettuce. In a True Leaf Market, they got pretty good deals on a lot of different stuff, and specialize in selling greens and a pretty good germination rate on these. But again, we're just doing a test. I mean, these seeds may all be duds, so I didn't want to do like a full trade and find out they didn't germinate real well. So let's see if we can get back on the tripod here. Gonna be difficult. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and put it back on. I don't know if my buddy Tom is watching over at the Frugal Prepper. We used to swap produce a little bit, but he's kind of been on the carnivore kick here, so not eating vegetables so much nowadays. But he's been doing pretty well. He's recovering from a little stroke. I think that's going to capture what we want to capture here. So for this part, I'm going to go ahead and take these gloves off. Just because it's going to be a little easier to manipulate the seed. What I like to do is just get like a little bowl like that. We'll open this up. You can see in there, probably not. We'll put a generous amount of seed in there. And the idea is we're going to go ahead and, yeah, I think we can see them a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this in. So there's pretty good coverage. And again, I mean, you don't Your potting mix doesn't need to be moist, but I like it better moist because that way it's got good contact. That moisture will go into the seed coat there. So that's probably pretty good. Now seeds will sprout if they've got moisture and the right temperature. And ideally like 75 degrees. Some seeds prefer it cooler, some hotter, like pepper seeds. It's more in the 80s. You know, for them to really germinate, they got a pretty thick seed coat. It takes a while to wake them up. That's pretty good. This lettuce should sprout in about 3 days. We may see sprouts even earlier than that, depending on you know, the moisture and temp. I'm going to put a dome on this too, because it's probably about 60 degrees, 65 degrees in here. So we'll turn the heat mat on, and then I'll put the a clear dome on this to conserve moisture and heat. So there, that's looking pretty good. So what we're going to do next is spritz. I got a little spray bottle. We're going to spritz the seeds, try to get them moist. It's going to be kind of gentle here. I don't want to pull my seeds out. Give them a good douse there. That's pretty good. And then we're going to put a fine layer of potting mix over this. There's a variety of ways of growing microgreens. I mean, there's people that don't even use potting mix. They do it completely soilless and have really good results. But from what I understand, a lot of people prefer them grown in this. They've got a little bit better flavor than growing in a soilless, completely soilless or medium. So we'll cover that. Again, not too thick. Generally speaking, when you're dealing with seeds and you're going to plant, you don't want to cover, like, go deeper than the length of the seed. You know, so the larger your seed, the deeper you can go. Like, you know, with a pumpkin seed or something, I'm going to push it in 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, whereas these lettuce seeds, I'm just barely going to cover, maybe with 1/8 of an inch. And I'm trying to be careful not overly cover this. Now the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you really pat this down so there's really good contact between the mix and the seeds. You know, so that the seed coats will absorb the moisture that's in the mix. It'll help stimulate the seeds to sprout. Hey Tom, what's up, buddy? So this is ready to go. What I do is I go ahead and spritz it again. Just so it's real good. And the other thing I'm going to do is take the rest of this water and we're going to go ahead and dump it into the tray. Yeah, surviving indeed. Been trying to catch your gun videos. How's the mobility coming along? I mean, it looks like you're getting around, but maybe still a little bit impaired, huh? This tripod, I need to get better equipment. I mean, not that I'm doing a lot of YouTube in here, but stuff's not. I'm gonna put it on the tripod. That's better. Yeah, it's tough, man. That's gotta be tough. How many days a week are you going to therapy? Let's go ahead and go back to our thing here. So this is done 2 days a week. How many months do you have to go? You just, did they authorize like 6 months of treatment or something, or a couple months? Got one of these dinners here. Throw this on there. And I'll hook up the heat mat later. We'll set the thermostat there and get this thing rocking and rolling. Yeah, right at 60 degrees. Well, 90 days. You're on probation. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you're doing better, you know, and getting some reps in, loading the ammo and stuff, and going up and down the stairs and just trying to stay active. I think it's definitely going to help. Yeah, if there's, I don't know, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I guess if there's any of the neural pathways that are messed up or whatever, you know, you have to kind of relearn. Yeah. Well, my hope is that my vehicles stay running for at least, 6 months. So maybe by that time you'll be recovered enough you can do some auto repair again. I don't know, for me, I've been trying to exercise a little bit more. So my son, he wants to play baseball this next year, and I guess it's pretty competitive. And so coach, basically said, you're gonna have to work at it, and so part of it's just training and stuff. Oh, good. So I've been taking him to Planet Fitness at night. We've been kind of hanging out there a little bit, but probably not going consistent enough to make a real big difference yet. Like we were trying to go like every other day or whatever, and like we missed. I was supposed to go yesterday. We didn't go because he's sick, and the kids have been passing around this cold or whatever. And I didn't go tonight because their hours, they close at like 7. Well, we didn't get going on stuff till I think they close at 7. Maybe they're open till 9 actually tonight. Anywho, I didn't go. Yeah, you start eating. Well, actually, I'm going to have steak Monday. It's my anniversary. We've been married 24 years, and my wife's asking me what ideas. We were gonna try to do something, but as far as going out of town or whatever, but we're gonna postpone that. So we're just gonna do like a nice dinner. I think go out some Saturday and hang out, and then Monday, I think Monday we're gonna try to grill some steaks and stuff. And I saw Kroger had a roast for like $4.99 a pound. That's your price point, isn't it? Yeah, I saw they got the turkeys out, on sale. It's funny because our company, they do turkeys, and undoubtedly there's usually a bunch that like just don't get picked up or whatever, so usually end up coming home with a couple, and we still got I think 2 from last year we're gonna try to cook up. Oh, well, we're gonna have to get you some burgoo. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but I grew up down in Evansville, and they had a German township down there, and they would get together and they'd do these burgoo festivals, which is basically liquefied meat. They cook this meat down, basically pulverize it, and I think there was some tomato sauce in with it. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how they made it, but it's basically liquefied meat. It's pretty good, but they call it burgoo. Ah, yeah, I saw it looked like you've been at McDonald's getting some of the all beef patties. As far as a carnivore and like recovering from stroke and stuff, I mean, is there anything else that you're having to do differently? I'm sure the doctors probably like were quizzing you a little bit. Yeah, no. Meanwhile, my better half, she's been dealing with some stuff, and we're thinking about going to. There's a practice. I'm trying to think of what the name of it is in town, but it's basically holistic medicine, where they do Eastern and Western, but they try to treat the root cause of, like, chronic conditions and this that, and the other, and it's a direct care model or something, where instead of going through insurance and all that, you just pay them directly, like a flat $75 a month. It's like a subscription, and then basically that allows you to see them whenever, and you can go and schedule appointments and stuff. But it's kind of like a direct care arrangement or something, where they don't mess with insurance. So we're thinking about doing that because, you add up the money on, like, medications and various stuff. It makes sense, and if there's a chance of addressing the root issues with diet, that it makes sense. We're spending that much anyway, if not more, each month on different stuff. So anyway. Trying to think what else has been happening. And try to get the yard wrapped up this weekend, I think. Maybe the last mow of the season, or second to last. We'll probably have 2 mows, one to get the grass, and then the second one to mulch the leaves in. And then I got one more time or two out at Dad's house before we're done there. His well finally passed inspection. I don't know if I told you about that, Tom. About middle of the summer, he was going to get some water or something, and the well ran dry, and, like, he had no water. So I ended up costing him, I think, altogether about $9,000 to get it all situated. But they had service come out and drill him a new well, and then hook up to the old line and stuff. I guess, aquifers can kind of move and shift. And so the guy was telling that technically we've been in kind of like a bit of a drought for the last couple of years. It was kind of hard to believe, but anywho, I guess I got him hooked up. But then there was, like, some bacteria or some, like, bad stuff in there, and he couldn't get it to pass the inspection, and had to run his water for like a month straight, like all the outdoor, had a hose going out in the yard and ran that 24/7 for like a month, and then the health department came back out, and it was like whatever was in there was out, and so they passed it, and now he's good to go. But I told him he's got pretty much, I think his original well was only like 75 foot down. They pretty much went double. I think like 135 feet down or something, and said he could water the garden all day long and it wouldn't run out. So that's been a limiting factor for me for the last like 6 years. It's been water. We haven't been able to, have to be kind of careful and conserve and stuff. Well, now that's not going to be an issue. So excited about that. Be getting ready for Thanksgiving. Yeah. Man, we get some barnyard animals. We almost did chickens this past year. Really contemplated that. But at the end of the day, decided not. We just knew we weren't going to get out there consistently, and didn't want to put that on Dad to take care of them and stuff. But Yeah, I think next year we try to do things smarter. If I can afford it, maybe try to get some drip irrigation going. I want to thinking about redoing the tomato trellis. Maybe do a mint lighter trellis in a grow box. Yeah, the eggs, man. We had a friend we were getting eggs from, and I guess now that the seasons are changing and stuff, she didn't have enough eggs to sell. They're just doing eggs for their own family now. So we went back to getting them at the store, and the yolks aren't near as yellow, right, as the ones you can get from, someone who's raising chickens in the backyard or whatever. I've been trying to eat more eggs for breakfast and stuff like that. It's been pretty good. So how's your work treating you with I guess they funding like the disability and stuff? That's good. Let's see if we can go over here. There's our potatoes. I haven't tried any of these fingerlings yet. So Russian fingerlings we grew this past year. They turned out pretty good. If you need any onions, I can hook you up. You get 2 boxes. It's pretty cool this year. I just left them in the ground for like way longer than I thought. The tops were basically the grass had overtaken them big time. And I didn't harvest them until like beginning of September or something. But they were like softball size, and they were completely, for the most part, cured. The tops were completely dried out, and they were just sitting there in the ground. So I was able to just rip them right out and throw them in the box, and they've been good. So yeah, I'll have to bring some onions over for you. It's a cross between the yellow and the reds. It was called Rose. Those did really well. I'm definitely going to grow those again this next season. So I imagine, I know you mentioned you closed down the auto repair service as far as your diagnostic stuff and like going to the different dealerships and then the mobile mechanic, obviously, right? How many people have you have tried calling you since then? Or how many numbers have you had to block? Oh, I bet. I tell you, a lot of different places you go to, like you just can't hardly trust anyone anymore with that stuff. Want to, well, I mean, because my daughter, when we took her car over to get a couple things done on it, and you got into it, you found that nothing was wrong with it. you know. And that same place, they tried to get us to do all kinds of stuff to the new van we got, and I was like, no, I don't think any of that needs to be done. Thanks. So I don't think we're gonna go there again. And then some of the other places I've been to, like especially for tire work, there's an issue with one of the installs, and kind of the tactic is they'll just oh. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it's just crazy. Oh, look at this. So earlier today, I was going to actually reinstall the faceplate to that outlet. A couple years ago I had ants in the outlet, right, and had to get rid of them and stuff. Well, I hadn't gotten around to putting this back on yet. And I dropped the screw in the potting mix, couldn't find it. I was just playing around, and I found it. So, that's cool. We'll have to put that on later tonight. Yeah, I tell you, if you need any help with anything like the outdoor stuff or whatever, I mean, feel free to hit me up. Yeah, I'd be happy to help you out. We actually, last weekend, so it was raining and stuff, we thought we were going to have a free weekend, and Samuel, he's all getting excited because he just thought he was going to be playing video games all day long, right? Or something ignorant. Anyway, my wife's parents, they sent out kind of the SOS, and apparently they had mice in there. Mice that came in from the field got behind the dishwasher and chewed a hole in the water line that's going into it, and they didn't know it. So over time, they're running the dishwasher and stuff. There's just water back there. Well, it basically ruined their kitchen. Mold got all back on the wall, on the back cabinets. It got into the floor, and they had to come in and rip out the floor down to the subfloor. And I guess there was a porcelain tile and all this stuff. Well, anyway, whoever did it, they didn't put any sheeting up or plastic and tape it to keep the dust from going in the house and stuff. So there's a fine layer of mortar dust, drywall dust, all through the front part of their house, and it is in all their cabinets and stuff. So got on all basically everything. Everything back there. There might be something back in the screw room that cord just started moving, and it shouldn't. I didn't touch it. Let's investigate. Yeah, there is something back there. I hear it. Hmm. Where's a gun when you need it, right, Tom? I wonder what that is. It's a mouse or a bat. I don't see anything yet. Yeah, this is a pretty nice bench. There's something back there. But I don't know, dude. I can't see it. But I definitely heard it. Well, we'll keep going and see if we hear anything else. But it sounds like there's a critter in the grow room. We're growing microgreens, and there's something on that back wall because that cord was moving around, but it's gone now somewhere. Thinking I'm gonna set maybe a little trap. Kind of reminds me of my days when we were living in Indiana. If you go back through my older YouTube videos, I've got a video on it, but we had a real problem with possums. And I think what they were doing was climbing up the exhaust chimney. It was an old chimney that the furnace was exhausting out of. Anyway, they were getting in through that, I think. Or they were coming in through the front deck. You know, we had lattice and stuff in front of it. I'm sure they found a way of getting in there. Anyway, they would get down there and they'd be on the conduit, the heating, you know, the piping and stuff down there in the basement that's running heat, basically air, the air conditioning, HVAC system basically through the whole house. And we get home, we'd hear this clawing sound that just sounded like it was right up in the grate. So I'd go downstairs and we'd turn the lights on. I had my grow room down there then, and you know, shining around, looking, and there'd be this possum hugging hugging the pipe. And, you know, as it's moving along, that's the noise it's making. And, I don't know, we caught, I think I trapped around 3 or 4. The one I remember, I went down to look, and it gotten into my onions. I was growing onions, and it had eaten down the onions, and then it crapped on this plate I had down there, like left a pile of feces. And then, you know, I was scanning around, and it was right there, and through this hole, and there was like a brick wall, and you could kind of look through on the one side, and he was up there on the piping. So yeah, I did a lot of relocation of critters. It's pretty comical. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Maybe we'll hear the critter again as we're going here on the live stream. I won't go too much longer. I don't know. What about you, Tom? You ever had critters in the basement? Oh, we're waiting here. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find it. We haven't had any mice that I'm aware of. We got 2 cats in the house. So I'm guessing if there was something, the one especially, she's pretty pretty active. The other one, he's like, I don't know, 12 and is more or less retired. Let's go ahead and put this seat up. Oops. Well, is the world coming to an end? Yeah, you know, that's an idea. I could lock one of the cats in this room. That'd be kind of comical, actually. We do put the cats up at night. We got in the laundry room, there's a door, and we'll lock them in there at night because they start racing around and stuff. At least the one does, and gets into stuff. She's not real good, so we kind of, we'll put them up at night, and then usually around 9-10 o'clock. But I could, this little closet here, it's got a door, so I could probably lock a cat in here if we wanted to. Just see what happens, right? Cold enough now I can keep my seeds kind of stored out here instead of taking refrigeration or refrigerator space, which is kind of nice. I've still got just a ton of stuff that's another project I need to go through and just see what we want to try to do this next year as far as growing stuff. I may try to do fennel. I don't know if you guys have ever had fennel or tried to grow it, but it's got an interesting flavor. I guess it smells like, tastes like, it's got like a licorice taste. Yeah, I think we're pretty good. Alright, well, I think I'm going to call it a night. We got our, let's get off of this here. Our microgreens are done. They're ready to go at 60. My last step is to hook up the thermostat here. You see how that just absorbed the water? So we're going to put our probe kind of right here. And put our lid on top. And I just need to find the plug in now. Which I think I found. Now the thermostats I run on I run directly on the outlet here. Let's clean that plug. Pull this back in. Just plug it in direct here. Success. Right now, so we'll hold that set button. I'm gonna put it down at 79 so it doesn't get too, maybe 78. Hit set again, it's set. So that'll basically run until it's 78 degrees, and we'll keep it within a couple degrees before it triggers again. But run these off this, and then the lights get run off the timer, which I need to plug back in there and then plug my strip to that. But technically I don't need any light right now because nothing's sprouted. It's all just moisture and heat. That's all I need. So I think we're good to go. All right, I guess that's it. I will catch you guys on the next one.